in the interest of your safety and due to restrictions related to the COVID pandemic, our event has been cancelled. My name is Werner Buchert, and this is Finding Frequency. Remember when I got all lyrical about my Rage Against the Machine tickets that I still cherish until this day, with the faint hope that maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to go. But then again, maybe I'm selfish. What about the other events that we had to give up? Easter, birthdays, and for some, funerals. Precious celebrations of life.
So my name is Ruud Janssen. I'm a Dutchman, learning to play the Alp horn, living in Switzerland for the past decade. And I met Werner at an event in a castle in Poland. And I remember spending a good week. And one of those episodes was a slightly psychedelic experience created by the creators of Meow Wolf, which was an experience, a Pink Floyd experience that got us to look at the world in a different way. What have I learned about myself during this pandemic, during this time of being locked into place? Well, it's interesting. This evening I was spending time with the family. I have a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old together with my wife. And after preparing some gyozas and dim sum, we ordered pizza because we didn't feel like cooking. Unlike the rest of the other 3.5 weeks of the lockdown, we've made the most creative culinary explorations, and I happen to love cooking, so cooking is a really good release for me. I know that my wife gets worried about my sanity when I stop cooking, and maybe I've done my fair share of cooking over the past couple of 3.5 weeks, but I also learned that it's interesting. Claiming time to have good conversations is something you have to have create moments and space for. So after dinner, I opened a bottle of Chocolate Block, which is a South African wine that I particularly enjoy. Got into a little pool I set up outside, a little inflatable jacuzzi. And also then looking up at the stars as the night grew darker, starting to wonder about, the perspective of life and looking at life from different angles and perspectives, and zooming in and zooming out of what's currently happening on the planet, how this has changed our behavior quite dramatically, which means that this event is a very effective event in our definition of events create value through behavior change. As the sky grew darker, more and more stars come up. And what's interesting is now that there's hardly any flights up in the sky, normally there's quite a lot of flights going across where we live in Switzerland, but there's no flights going on at the moment. So every moving speck you see in the sky is actually a satellite or a space station. And we were talking about the perspective of these different things and how looking at it from different angles gives a very different perspective. My conclusion is that traveling alone or traveling in your imagination or traveling with your loved ones and reliving their experience and hearing the stories that result from it are precious moments in time that need to be cherished. I think this time is given to us to reflect, to reset, to think about how the world functions and what it is that we can do to influence that. and be conscious about the change we want to make. So, although it is a moment where many people are suffering, I feel that growth is imminent, change is omnipresent. When we get to value in hindsight what this period means to us, I think we will fully cherish its impact and even thank Corona for what it's done, however strange that may sound.
I've never considered that we are currently attending one of the biggest events that I will probably attend in my life. The event that's called the pandemic. And then finally, the smaller, the more unassuming events, like the event I attended last night. Martha and I spent a little bit of time huddled around a phone screen with two dear friends of ours on the outskirts of Warsaw. We shared recipes. We shared stories of isolation adventures. We spoke about gardening. We spoke about hope. And we spoke about the after. So what precious events are you currently attending? What behavior change are you intending to create? Thanks for listening.